Welcome everybody to your road to the DTM. It's going to be a short meeting, so we're going to get started right away without any further ado. I give you Karen Lezon, our moderator.
Thank you, Linda. Hello, everyone. It's good to see you this evening. So I am the Advanced Training Committee Chair. Forgot it for a minute. And I've been a Toastmaster for about 10 years. I belong to a couple of clubs, including West Seattle Toastmasters 832. Welcome, everybody. People are just pouring in. Come on in. We're just getting started. And I also belong to Green River Toastmasters, which I am coaching with Marty, who's also here today. And I also belong to an advanced club called Speak Out, which used to meet downtown, but we are meeting on Zoom. So today we're going to talk about the road to your Distinguished Toastmaster Award. Now, full disclosure, I don't have my DTM. So I am here to listen to everybody just like you are and to get some pointers, but I'm also going to give some pointers because since I have been working on it, I'm going to talk about the what, the how, and the why. But first, we're going to start with the why. My apologies to Simon Sinek, who has a book of that same name, but very good place to start. Why would we want to do this? So the first DTM award, the first one that was ever awarded, was given out in 1970. About 1% of the membership in Toastmasters has their DTM. So pretty rarefied air. I'm thinking that one of the goals of Pathways was to up that percentage a little bit, but then came the pandemic. So I think it's still drifting around 1%. So all of you are in rarefied air if you're going for your DTM. And those of us that are here, not of us, but those of the rest of you that have your DTMs already, our panelists. So why would you want to get your DTM? So I found an article, and I'll be giving you all these resources at the end. I have a folder that I will give you a link to that you'll be able to see everything I'm talking about. In the Toastmasters magazine, there's an article about interview with a number of people who have their DTMs and what has the benefit been for them to have it? And they mention things like confidence. So for instance, this one woman says that she knows that she can handle anything because she's already done it at least once, getting her DTM. So she can handle anything at work or at home, I imagine, as well. People said they're a better person. They can navigate changes better, and that they have greater emotional intelligence. So those are all great things. And hopefully we'll hear from our panelists too. What benefits did they get from getting a DTM? So that's a start with the why we would want to go for it. But let's talk about what it is in case you don't know. So I'm going to share my screen. And I've got so many things up. It's going to take me a minute to find it. I think that's it. So this is a flow chart for your path to a DTM. So you can see there's a couple of different components, or several. The education part, you have to complete 2 paths. Then you also have to complete a Distinguished Toastmasters project. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But the project shows up in your suggested learning after you have completed 1 path and 3 levels of another path. And so you can take a look at the materials. You also have to be spend at least 1 year in the club leadership. Then there's district leadership. So area director, division director, those things count. Then there's some other leadership things that you need to do. So club extension, helping with creating clubs or keeping clubs going. So for the club extension, you have to serve one of these: club sponsor, speechcraft coordinator, or a youth leadership coordinator. In the club support, you need to be either a club mentor or a club coach. And that's it. That's all you have to do. So that's the what. Let's go on to the how. Well, a good way to start, for instance, is to get some mentors that can help you. And you've got some possibilities here today. But you also want to keep track of what you've done already. Great way to do that is using the app, is filling out the award application as you go. And I'm going to show you mine. Otherwise, I'd never remember all these dates. So this is mine. I have it more or less filled out. Path completions. I haven't finished a path yet. I'm this close to finishing my first path, but I've also started a second. And I'm looking forward to seeing the materials on the Distinguished Toastmaster project. Club officer role completion. So maybe you've been a club officer once, maybe you've been club officer a zillion times, like I have. But you need to just pick one, and it has to be one where you helped prepare a club success plan. So I picked this particular one because I did indeed, our club did do a club success plan that year. And if you'll notice, this is sort of pre-pathways rollout for our district. And that's okay, because the leadership pieces carry through from the legacy program to the pathways program. So you can hang on to those. But this is a gotcha, this club success plan. And notice the dates. I mean, it's, I don't know how, of course, the Toastmasters International keeps track of this sort of thing, but it's really good idea to put this in your application right away. District leader role completions. You can see I was a pathways guide, and which was something that did qualify for district leader role. I could also put in this year, division director. If you're an area division director, and if you want to be an area director, there's lots of openings this year. So if you need that particular check mark here, please see Linda. Then there's the club mentor, club coach, and I noticed I'm missing my date appointed. I've got to go look that up before I lose it in my 10,000 emails. And for me, I've already done a speechcraft, and I have the dates there. That is, I put that in right away because, again, I would just simply forget it. And then eventually, when you have all this filled out, you'll have to get a club officer to sign it for you, and then it gets sent in to world headquarters. So this is a great way to keep track of how you're doing in your DTM, what your progress is. I'm going to stop sharing that. Another tip for how is to always look for opportunities. So for instance, do you need a district role? This is a great time to sign up to get the area director role. What about ways to complete your pathways? There's some big projects, the level 4 and level 5 projects can take some time. And you might be wondering, how can you do some of these? Well, I have a list for you of leadership projects that you can apply to. Club contest, you can be a chair of your club contest or an area contest or division contest. There's also opportunities, I believe, perhaps Linda, I think the presidents, it used to be called the leadership breakfast, I think is what it's called now. There's an opportunity there to be a chair. You could complete a pathways project for that. If you are an area or district, division person, you can't use the contest to complete a pathways project because that's your job. You're supposed to be doing that, but you can assign a chair, somebody who would like to do that, who would like to complete a pathways project. And I'm sure you would be happy to hand over some of that leadership opportunity to someone else. And I will give you a list of those things that you can do. Other things, there's a thing called the HPL, High Performance Leadership Project. Are people familiar with that? Anybody here? Has anyone done one? High performance leadership besides the DTM people? So that is one of your pathways projects. It shows up in level 5. Now, how is that different from your DTM project? The HPL, as it's known, lovingly known, you build a team, you have a project, you build a team, and you also have a group of people that help you get through the leadership parts. They're not part of your team, they're a committee that you're working with for your leadership, to help you learn leadership parts of what you're doing. This project can be a division or a district contest or a district level event. So you can use your HPL for doing something like that, or something else that you have in your life otherwise. The DTM project is more of a service project. It's something that you come up with, some original idea, something that you see a need for. And then you create a program and you get a team together and you do that project. So that's slight difference, but it's an important difference. Not all paths require you to do an HPL. So you may not have to do one of those anyway, depending on what path you're in. So now we've done the why, we've done the what, and we've done the how. It's time to find out what your questions are. But I think first, let's introduce ourselves. We don't have a huge group, so let's go to the panelist first. So Carrie, could you introduce yourself quickly, just how long you've been in Toastmasters and what clubs you're in?
Sure. Thanks, Karen. I am a Toastmaster of 4 years, 3 or 4 years. I don't know. I'm still stuck in 2019. So, and I belong to Laugh Lab, Carmel Improv Toastmasters, and Frankly Speaking. And I just received my DTM last year.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having
Kevin, why don't you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. And I'm happy to say for 7 more days, I'm the Division E Director. And I've been a Toastmaster since 2019 and a DTM for 2 months now. So most of the stuff is relatively fresh in my head.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much. And Tommy, why don't you introduce yourself?
Good evening, Tommy Price. I've been in Toastmasters since 2015, and I'm currently a member of Finding Your Voice Toastmasters and Leading Edge Toastmasters. And at 12:01 on July the 1st, my life is going to change because I'm the incoming Club Growth Director. And I I'll comment on this later on more if we have a chance. I did my DTM under legacy because I didn't want to throw away 4 or 5 years of work. But how I did it is what I want to comment on when we get there. Thank you, Karen.
All right, great. All right, Vera, you're up.
I've been the member of CTS Toastmasters and Greater Issaquah Toastmasters. I've been Toastmaster for the last 6 years. I finished my DTM in the legacy path, but I'm like 1 step away to get my DTM in the pathways. So I'm finished all my pathway programs. I finished my officer roles. I finished my district role. And I did do a couple of tries. I was expecting to finish him this year, but some minor hiccups. So I wouldn't get the credit for that this year. Hopefully I'll get it next year. And I'm also the outgoing and incoming Division C Director.
All right, thank you. And last but certainly not least, Tina.
Thank you, Karen. I am Tina Tate. I am your current Program Quality Director and incoming District Director. I have been a Toastmaster since 2016. I got my DTM in the Legacy program. I think that was last year. The years run together, so last year and a half. And I am a member of Burlington Better Speakers and Northwest Advanced.
All right. Well, thank you very much. So let's hear from the people who are visiting us today and just tell us a little bit about yourself as a Toastmaster and perhaps where you are in the DTM process. Dano, why don't you go first?
Yes, I'd be glad to tell you. I got all excited over this when I began looking for what qualifications to become a DTM. I realized I've done 90% of it. So I thought, well, let's go the extra steps to get it. I have finished, my first pathway was dynamic leadership. The second one was individual development. And now I'm working on visionary communication. That's where I'm at. And I've also been speaking at Rotary clubs from Kent to Des Moines using my Toastmasters skills.
All right, great. And you're an area director coming up this year, right?
That is correct.
All right. Congratulations. And thank you. Okay, Marty, what about you? What brings you here?
I'm Marty, and I've been a part of Toastmasters since 2019, and I'm working towards the DTM because I was poked by someone with a really pointy finger and couldn't resist the effort. So I have 2 items left, the speechcraft and the club coaching opportunity. And once I've done those, then I'll be able to send that application in and make it real.
All right, thank you. Rita, what about you?
I joined Toastmaster in 2016, and since then, I joined the Toastmaster for 1 year and then quit for a while since my daughter was born, and I spent about 2 or 3 years to care for her. And then during the COVID-19, I joined the Toastmaster. My home club is Marketing Early Opinion Clubs. Currently, I'm working with Mill Creek Confidence Builder Club, and Bob and me, we work as the club coach, and I also joined this club now.
All right, great. Megan, how about you?
I've been in Toastmasters now for 5 years and I'm about 75% of the way to the DTM, so still have a few things to finish up, but I'm committed to getting it done this year. So
All right.
starting to plan, I guess technically next Toastmasters year, but starting to plan for how I'm going to get that done.
All right, good. Hopefully you'll be able to pick these guys' brains and get some good tips on how to do that. Who do we have left? Dawn, are you there?
Yes, I am here. I'm a bit under the weather, but I really did not want to miss this session. I had, under the Legacy program, like many others here, I joined in 2016. I had Advanced Communicator Bronze, Advanced Leadership Bronze, but I made the pivot straight away to Pathways just because I thought it was really interesting. I'm on my 3rd pathway. I was area director this year under Kevin, under Division E. So I've got a lot of the elements, but I loved the tracking sheet. I love the application. I just downloaded it and I said, oh my goodness, why wasn't I keeping track of all the things I've been doing? So I'm really excited about this course, and I know it'll make me feel better. So thank you.
All right. And you warmed my heart saying you found Pathways interesting, being a former Pathways guide. I love it too. Donna, are you there?
Yes. Hello, Karen. Hello,
Hi.
everyone. I'm sorry. What was your question?
Just introduce yourself and why you're here.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So I have been a Toastmaster since 2015, and I have yet to really put any semblance of design as far as what I've completed so far as a Toastmaster. I have yet to really put that into focus as far as preparing anything to become a DTM. So I am just here tonight working to learn from all of you as far as your experiences and to help form this road to becoming a DTM. So, and I am a member of 2 clubs. I am with Eastside Leaders Advanced Club and also with Nerd Masters. And I am also a club coach for Trash Talkers. Thank you, Karen.
All right. Thanks, Donna. So I'm glad everyone's here. So
Can I go too?
oh, I'm sorry, Linda.
That's okay. I do not have a DTM yet. I know a lot of people might think the opposite, but I still have 1 whole pass to do. And then you get your DTM project when you ask for it after you are on level 3 of your second DTM project or your second pathway. So I have that yet to do, but I did join on April Fool's Day of 2018. And I am really motivated to walk across the stage next year at conference. Back to you.
All right, thank you. And this whole event today was Linda's idea. This is her idea. So thank you, Linda. All right, so let's get started with some questions. Does somebody have questions for the panelists? Or for me, or for any of us?
I have a question.
Okay.
What is the better way to do a speech craft?
The better way? Does one of our panelists have experience with that and would like to answer that? And what do you mean exactly, Dano? The better
I
way?
mean, what subject, the process of it, what not to do. It's a very general question. I'm asking to share an experience.
Any of our panelists have an answer for that? I have some thoughts, but if any of the
I can
panelists,
give my, yeah, I
Eric?
can give my thoughts and.
sure.
Yeah. Carrie, you want to go first? Okay.
Go ahead, Vera. Go ahead.
Speechcraft, yeah, Speechcraft, you could either do it for a club that you're trying to charter, or you are a corporate club where no members are going to join, but they're hesitant. Hey, I don't know if this is going to work, or will this help me? So you get those 4 or 5 people who are not like ready to take the leap, or like thinking about the money or time or constraint or whatever it is, and go through the Speechcraft thing. Try to do at least 4 weeks, spend at least 2 hours each week. That will give them a whole overview. Don't rush, don't try to do it that way. Or the other way of doing it is when we're trying to charter clubs, members are interested, they are committed. So that's another way you could like do that. I think one Speechcraft can be used only for 5 people. If there are like more people, then you need to buy 2 kits. And it's a digital thing now. The current Toastmaster store is like work in progress or maintenance now. You will not be able to download it, but once something changes, you would be able to like do that. It pretty much gives you the first path in any pathway. Say how to do an icebreaker, research and presenting, evaluating, and things. So if you have done a couple of pathways, it will be easy for you to like be the Speechcraft moderator or the trainer. It is pretty intuitive. That's input from my side.
All right.
Thanks
Carrie?
for the opportunity. Yeah.
Thanks, Vera.
Yeah,
Carrie?
sure. Just to add to Vera. So just stepping back for a minute, defining Speechcraft. It's like a mini version of a meeting, in that you have primarily brand new Toastmasters who are just getting a flavor of what a Toastmaster meeting is, and how to prepare a speech, how to prepare an evaluation, how that all comes together. And it's done in a very, there's a lot of creativity in it, but it's done in a process way. So they can realize some rewards of, creating their initial speech and things like that. So my story, Linda reminded me, because I pinged her, and in the last minute last year, I was doing my district project and the Speechcraft all at the same time. I was a little overwhelmed. And I realized, oh, I forgot to do the Speechcraft. And speaking of Karen, which is a far better way to track as you go, but I was doing it in my head and thought I could just, maintain all this. But then when dates come, it's like, yeah, it's better way to track it all at once. So I had to do it in the last minute, but I did I think it was the 5-week, right, Vera? Is it 4 or 5 weeks? There's another longer one. It's like 8 weeks, I think.
Mhm.
But in my opinion, the 4 or 5 week is sufficient to get that taste. And I think we had 5 participants, and I think I remember only buying maybe 1 package for the Speechcraft, and it is a different program than Pathways. So it's, I'll just be upfront, it's very confusing to figure it out. And Linda was very gracious, and she was going through it at the same time. We were kind of working together to try to figure out the timing of all that. It just wasn't explicit, so. But each one of the participants who went through it just thought it was phenomenal, and they all wanted to join Toastmasters at the end. I'm not sure that all of them found a home, but they were just super enthusiastic about it.
That's Thanks, Carrie. And I would add to that, Dano, you can also, I mean, besides, of course, it helps you with membership building because you bring people in who are not Toastmasters members to go through the Speechcraft program. But you can also reach out to organizations, charitable organizations, perhaps youth organizations that are in the area, to do a Speechcraft with them that would benefit, people in the area. So I believe there's also going to be a presentation about Speechcraft tomorrow at the TLI. So you should try and come to the TLI tomorrow and hear about Speechcraft.
It's TLI.
It's the training tomorrow. It's Toastmasters Leadership Institute, 9 to 12. And it's the first little bit of officer training for the coming year. And you can go to the calendar on the district website. And yeah, it used to be called a Melee. And sign up. All right. Another question. That was a good question. Thanks, Dano. Megan?
Yeah, I'm curious for folks who did their DTM under Pathways, which I realize is probably not most of you, how you picked your DTM project and what the criteria are that you used for that.
Who would like to answer that? I also have an article of some examples of DTM projects that it's also from the magazine. So I'll be giving that resource later for you to read. But who would like to answer that?
I can go. I think I'm the only one who did it under Pathways, if I understood it correctly during. So the criteria are, it can't be with Toastmasters. It has to be for the betterment of humanity. It doesn't necessarily have to be a project with a nonprofit, but it can be. And you have to lead at least 5 people. So your team has to be 5 people in size. And that basically gives you the criteria. So there's no overview committee like the HPL has. It says your VPE of the club where you're doing it can give you guidance, but it doesn't really say that they could veto the project or anything. So it's, in the end, choosing it is up to you. And I guess after doing 2 pathways with all the little forms where you could just lie that you did something, I guess Toastmasters assume either you know not to do that, that's only for you, or you're a lost cause anyways. And then it really, the rest is up to personal preference. I did something which combines computer and education. So we shipped out little computer cubes for undeveloped or underdeveloped countries or developing countries, where they can use like all the tools we have on the internet, which you can then use without the internet. And that obviously qualified both in size and in betterment of humanities. But yeah, nonprofit work is one of the famous ones which people do. And that then brings you closer to it. Especially the ones working with Rotary clubs, their work can also count over.
Mm-hmm.
So that's if you're anywhere in the business community and Rotary member at the same time, might be an option.
Thanks, Kevin. I think you can also do something within your club, right? Because your club is also a sort of a charitable organization. But if there's something that, if you see a need for something in your club, one of the examples I saw was a woman put together a mentoring program for the mentors. So something that's outside of something that's already established. So it's the idea. It has to be sort of an original idea, but it can still be within Toastmasters. But I think the most interesting ideas, if you have a passion for something else, I think it's a great opportunity to do something. Go ahead.
Actually, the form explicitly says it cannot be within Toastmasters.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's one of the key differences to the HPL, which can be a Toastmasters project.
Well, so that's a little different from the article that I read in Toastmasters magazine, but I think that but I've seen inconsistencies before, so I'm going to go with you, Kevin. Anybody else have a question or like to answer that? Farah?
No, I have a question. I am like one pathway done. The second pathway, I've completed 5 paths, but I've not submitted the 5th path. But I don't see where I should choose my DTM project, because mentoring, I can see I chose it and I finished it, but I don't know how to like choose this project.
So my understanding is, and Kevin, actually, why don't you answer this, because you've done this in Pathways.
Yes, they announce it with every Pathways update that it will be automatically. Until now, you still have to contact them via email for them to activate it.
Okay, I have to contact them by email.
Yes.
I'll do that.
Correct. You have to wait until you've got 3 levels of your second path already done. And after you do that, then you can contact them and they'll add it. But I think Karen probably already has it. If you just want to take a peek, just to look at it before you contact them. I know I'm getting mine. I have it, a bootleg copy of it now, because I'm not even on my second path yet. So I need to like plan ahead.
Yeah, I'm like 3 paths almost done, but I've not submitted my level 5, the second path, and the 3rd path, I'm like also 3 levels done.
You're ready.
But I thought the HPL project, the HPL project is what it was, the DM project, and I realized it's a completely different project. And I thought I wanted to ask you guys, and I really forgot, and like that's the plan. Oh, I've done a ethical leader project in one of my pathway. I've done a HPL project in one of my pathways. So that should be it, right? Is what I thought. Now I'll reach out to the TI and get that added to my thing. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and put that bootleg version that Linda found. I'll put it in the folder for the link that I just sent you. Just put in chat. So I'll do that very soon. Another question? These are all great questions. Surprising answers too. It's good to know. Good information. No other questions? Tommy, you had mentioned that you wanted to talk about something specific. Do you want to go into that?
Well, yeah, I'll jump on that. It sort of goes to Megan's question, and Kevin commented on it. Do it for more than just checking off a Toastmasters box. Okay. And I'll comment. I did mine on Legacy, and I did it right after the pandemic started. And my home club and so many other clubs were having tech problems, and everybody was trying to figure out what to do, and so many were falling apart. And I had something else in my professional life, and I took my final, what I had to do, and I did under Legacy, so it's a little bit different. But I took what I had to do for my DTM for my final DTM speaking. I paired it up with what I needed to do outside of Toastmasters, and I created my own event. Now, I did get my own MC, and what so many people fail to get is, as long as you have a speech evaluation, a speech outside of Toastmasters can count. So if you're speaking outside of Toastmasters, get a speaker evaluator. And we get stuck that it has to be in a club. And I know that it's really easy, and that's the Toastmasters box, but play with it. What can you do outside of the Toastmasters box? And what can you do outside of your standard box? So I used it, it drew me in Toastmasters and paired up with my Toastmasters goals, but it paired up with something I needed to do professionally outside of Toastmasters.
Yeah, that's good advice. I believe, and Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, with the DTM project, you need to have at least one other Toastmaster on your team, because is that correct?
No, they advise it. So if you get it in Pathways, you get the project itself, and you get, I think, everyone who is logged in Pathways has seen the advice for the new level 1, how to craft good speeches.
Mm-hmm.
This, I think, supplemental reading it's called, and you get the same for the DTM project. And it's the same advice. Have another Toastmaster in so they can help evaluate whether it's good, whether your leadership, and to give you feedback, but it's not required to have someone on there.
Okay.
And it's also not required to have someone out of your club in there.
Right. But your team will evaluate you. I mean, they'll fill
Your
out.
team will evaluate you, yep. And in the worst case, your VPE gets to see these 360 evaluations.
And those 360 evaluations are amazing. I've filled one out for a friend. Yeah. Great. Thank you. Thank you both. Another question? Some burning questions? I know there must be some out there.
Yes. What does legacy mean? I see people in clubs, these ALC, all these, I have no idea what they mean.
It's just before Pathways. It's life before Pathways. It was the old educational system.
Confident communicator series.
Yes, yes. That's it. Any other questions? You guys getting some good information? So perhaps our panelists are there any panelists who would like to talk about why or what benefits they got once they had their DTM, or why they went for it to begin with? Anybody would like to answer that? Carrie?
Yeah, well, I think when you're working in your career I was also going to school at the same time, and I joined Toastmasters actually as a diversion. I mean, I put a lot of work into it, but it was my diversion as well. And I think that you just don't recognize all the benefits while you're doing it, or while you're doing these projects. And you're wondering, how is this really going to relate? And then suddenly it just all comes together. And for me, it all came together with the speechcraft. I was overwhelmed at the time, having to complete school and work and the DTM and all of this at the same time. But it was seeing the reaction of these new Toastmasters, get a flavor of what it was, and to impart that kind of feeling to them and knowledge was super exciting. I could see that we could all see the transformation. So I had other mentors who were helping me as well in the meetings, and it was just super excited when that all came together. And for me, I'm just a really driven person, so it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm just going to give it all. And but the benefits, every day I feel the benefits. Every day in meetings, spontaneously have to talk about some random thing and sound intelligent. It just you can think on your toes, on your feet. And you can offer a lot more than then you just start to believe and have that confidence. And everything you said in the beginning is absolutely true of everything that people have said, you know, and the benefits that you get from this and the transferability of skills.
Good, thank you. Anyone else? Any other panelists? Oh, Tina, you have your hand up. You were following the rules.
I was following the rules. Linda tells me what to do, I do it.
I hear you.
I did it because, well, I did it for professional reasons, like Carrie was saying, but mainly I did it because everybody kept pushing me to do it. And they're like, oh, you should get your DTM. You're almost there. Let's go. I'll help you. And so I really had a team of people that were my cheerleaders that wanted me to reach this level. I'm not sure why they were so insistent that I do it, but they were. I'm very grateful. But being a nonprofit leader, so I'm was the executive director of a nonprofit, and I'm the CEO of a nonprofit now. I've run for political office. I currently hold an elected position in my community. And I really think that getting that DTM gave me the confidence to, one, put myself out there and say, I can do this, because, you know, I've done all of these things to get my DTM. It's like, well, what can't I accomplish now? I can do anything. I've done this. And just having that confidence to put myself out there, because now I have this DTM and I put in all of that work, it also gives me more drive to try and achieve more. I'm kind of a driven person anyway. Anybody that knows me, Linda, knows that, you know, in my community, I'm pretty driven. And so I go for things. That's why I've gone through, you know, the trio, and, but it's all because of achieving that one little thing that gave me that confidence and drive to do more.
All right, thank you. Anyone else want to contribute to their benefits?
Oh, can I add one more thing?
You bet.
I just wanted to add, you know, as far as like the leadership stuff, I did area director to check that box, and I liked it so much, I did it again. And I became division director because I liked that so much, and the rest is history. But, you know, if you haven't been an area director, you should give it a shot. It's a lot of fun. Get that box checked off. And if you are interested in that, I will put my email in the chat. Let me know. We are looking for people. Shameless plug.
No, that's great. Actually, that was going to be, that's a great segue, because the next thing was I was going to ask each member of our upcoming trio to talk about what opportunities that there are in the district to either fulfill some pathways projects, or or just being able to do one of the projects in to go towards your DTM, like the coaching or the sponsorships or that sort of thing. So who do they contact, and what opportunities are out there? So we know there's area director, definitely. That's a great thing. You can sign up right away. Anybody you know who might be interested, please let them know that they should sign up immediately. But what else? So who wants to go first? Tina, Tommy, or Linda?
I can go if
okay.
I've got the spreadsheet pulled up. We have lots and lots of different roles, and you may not know all of the roles that is involved in running the district. There are a lot of them, and we have a lot of them to fill. So there's the advanced training committee, you know, being a part of that maybe, club coach chair, the demonstration meeting chair. I'm not going to go into all of these because some of these are Tommy and Linda's, but oh, where is it? Oh, it's over here. What's it called? The administration manager, I was drawing a blank, is another role that we need to fill. So Tommy and Linda, I'll let you talk about the roles you have for your areas.
I'll go. Pretty much all of my roles are filled, and a couple of people that have filled them are here, and I'm very grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have committees, of course, so if you're interested in just general committee work, absolutely let me know. But we're talking tonight about DTM and other roles. So I think Tommy, he has more roles that report to him than any trio member. I know, because I just got done with that.
So I was going to say, pretty much Linda's got all hers because she doesn't have as much to fill as I or Tina do. So the district director has the most, and the club growth director comes in second. Linda's at the bottom of that line. If you want to work with clubs, that could be club retention, club extension. I won't get into what that means. Club sponsors, club coaches, club mentors. And sorry, I'm referring to my manual. And there's probably a few more that I left off that I just skimmed over. I do have 2 meetings, one tomorrow. I'm hoping to have one more this weekend about 2 positions. But if you'd like to explore what club growth has that you could participate in, my email is in the chat, and I am looking to fill those. I'll also, the biggie that I left off, other than club coach, is I'm looking for that lovely person who would like to be assistant club growth director for the year. So if that's you, I'll take that too. So, but my email's in there. Just drop me a chat and we'll set up a Zoom meeting and talk about it. Thanks, Karen.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Also, so I'll be the chair of the Advanced Training Committee coming up this year as well. And if you want to do a training, there's pathways projects that you can complete by doing something that, speaking professionally, for instance, or just another project. If you need an opportunity, let me know, and you've got something you'd like to train. I believe there's also I don't know if you have this filled yet, the chair of the Speechcraft. Is that right? Did I see that?
There is an opportunity for that now. Be under Tommy. Under the many, many, many roles that are under Tommy. That is one of the opportunities. Yes.
Okay, so it's not filled yet. What I was just going to suggest, that would be the point person that you would go to if you were interested in doing a Speechcraft, that they could help you out. There's nobody there yet, so maybe it could be you. Who else? We're coming up on 6:54. Does anybody want some last words? Any of our panelists have some words of wisdom? Kevin, you go right ahead.
If no one else goes, the one thing to keep in mind is that, especially now that the economy is slowing, everyone's hunkering up again, something we didn't have at all during COVID. Finishing your DTM, especially if you're close, gives you that one boost of, I did it. And sometimes, especially if you're threatened to be let go at work or trying to find something new, that little boost can help you already get over the down. So if you have the feeling, I'm never going to get my last project done, that might be really the point where you just want to push up and really find the success. And that might make it all worse in the end.
All right. Thank you so much, Kevin. That's a great way to finish up today. I put the link to a folder again about the DTM resources that I've talked about today. And so take a look at what I've got in there. And I think we're done. I'm going to hand this back to, well, Linda's got her hand up. Linda?
I just thought I'd close the meeting. I wanted to make sure everybody knows next year conference is absolutely going to be in person. There'll be a real stage. You can walk across the stage. You can all go through the, I forget what they call it, Tina, when everybody raises their hands.
Gauntlet.
The gauntlet. You can walk the gauntlet. And Kevin and Vera just got to do a version of that at the gala that we just had for awards. But of course, we're going to invite them back up because we want them to be on the big stage and do the real gauntlet walk and really congratulate from hundreds of people. And I would love to see everybody there. And if you already have one DTM, why not just get a second one, right? So thank you, everybody, tonight. We're going to wrap up the meeting. And